This is Shelby.
And this is Jesi.
And we are SPEW, Sacks of Potatoes Entertaining the West.
Each week, we bring you the freshest new nerdisms to sprinkle right on top of your feminisms.
Like a cupcake.
Just like cupcakes. And everyone loves cupcakes.
Yes.
Well, I think we do this out of the kindness of our hearts. We're doing a community service here, folks. So we hope you all appreciate it. We hope that you like what we're dishing out.
And if you want to pay us, go ahead and pay us. We're okay with that as well.
Yeah, we accept cash, check, gold bullion, pirate booty, sun chips.
Yeah, dragoons. Is that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Rupees?
Whatever. Rupees.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a link to the past type thing?
I think
Ocarina
it's also
of Time.
money somewhere in the world.
Is
but
it?
yeah, it is a link to the past. It is an Ocarina of Time thing, Colin.
So if you're out there listening in Radio Land, take a moment to leave us a rate or a review on Facebook, or on iTunes, or on Stitcher, or on SoundCloud, wherever it is that you have found SPEW on your corner of the internet. You can find us by searching for SPEW Podcast on any of those places. And of course, you can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SPEW Podcast.
Or hashtag SPEW Podcast for a lot of our stuff.
Yeah.
And even if you just tell us that you're listening to us, that makes us really happy, and it actually encourages us to come back the next week.
Yeah.
That's been something I've noticed recently.
We're
and it really does
millennials,
make me happy.
and millennials need positive reinforcement. Constantly. We need validation, and we need to be told how great we are. Otherwise, we shrivel up and die, just like Tinkerbell.
Right.
So, and a couple of weeks ago, for those that have been listening continuously, you know that we put out a call for nerdboys to get in touch with us about a very exciting photo project that we're working on. And we're working on it top secret. We're not telling anyone exactly what it is, but we do need some audience participation here, folks. So go ahead and raise your hands if you're interested. We're looking for nerdboys. So if you are A, dude, B, hunky, or C, not hunky, also okay, and most importantly, D, have nerd-like tendencies, then you seriously need to get on board with us, because we are going to do something really cool. So hopefully,
it's a really good idea, not to cut you off, Jesi. Yeah. But I mean, we don't want to just straight up say it and have someone else steal it. So you have to basically put your fingers in this pie. We should let's reword that. You need to actually put your name in this hat.
Don't put fingers in the pie.
Don't put your fingers in anybody's pie
without their permission.
Without consent on the pie and the fingers. No, but yeah, definitely let us know if you're interested in doing this, and we'll give you the details immediately. And then soon we will go public with it. But you don't want to be one of the losers that didn't finger the pie first. So
yeah, so you want to get on this bandwagon. It's going to be a pretty big deal. And you're not working with no amateurs here, folks. I actually do photography. If you don't believe me, go to Facebook, look up Seeker Photography. I'm legit.
Not like high school photography. She's a professional photographer.
I'm a pro.
Like she gets paid for it.
People pay me big bucks to take pictures of their ugly mugs, and I can make your ugly mug look pretty good. So get in touch with us if you want to get involved in this really cool opportunity.
There is no nudity, partial nudity perhaps, but not nudity.
Tasteful nudes.
Yeah.
Tasteful nudes.
Yeah. And you can send us your really weird ideas. Tell us a little bit, to give us your picture.
Yeah.
Send us a little bit about you.
Yeah.
And what you're really into nerd-wise.
Tell us your nerd repertoire.
It's not really something that we're not gonna turn you away.
No, we probably won't turn anybody away unless your nerd thing is like furries.
Yeah.
We probably won't play with you.
No, probably not. We appreciate
or if you're
you.
like really into Godzilla, because I hate those people.
Oh my God, I hate you so much, Jesi.
So yeah, get in touch with us. On to some cool stuff. I just read a really cool article today. Came out a couple of days ago on IO9, which is part of Gizmodo. Do you ever read that website at all, Shelby?
I've seen it, in passing, but I don't make it a habit.
It's one of it's rest in peace Gawker, but it's one of the Gawker blogs.
Yeah.
And then their sub-blog is IO9, and they just cover a lot of like generally nerdy things. And they had a really cool article the other day called "The Surprising Intersection of Islam and Sci-Fi." And I'm going to try to put a link to this on our Facebook, because I think it was just really cool to read. And basically what the article was about, too long didn't read version for the people who don't read out there, is there's a fella, he's a Muslim nerd. His name, and I'll probably butcher this because I'm bad at pronunciations, but his name is Mohammed Aurangzeb Ahmed, and he founded a website / a publishing project called Islam and Science Fiction. And he did this because he's a big sci-fi nerd, and he wanted to collect stories from Muslims about Muslims that were, inspired by Muslim culture, inspired by Muslim folklore, in the sci-fi genre.
Yeah.
So he did this. He started this project. He put out a call for submissions, and now he's published this anthology of short stories, science fiction short stories. That's called the Islamicates, Volume 1. And it sounds really cool. It's free. Which
That's
who doesn't love free stories, number one. And to me, it sounds really awesome. It's like 12 short stories in this anthology you can get for free.
Fiction. It's fiction stories.
Science fiction, all sci-fi
Yeah.
stories. I think that's really cool. And free is always good. The first volume is out on his website now, and he's hoping to have more volumes because he got like dozens and dozens of submissions. I think he said like almost 80 submissions.
Wow.
So he's only publishing like these 12 that he handpicked.
So is it written by Muslims for Muslims, or is it people that aren't necessarily of the Muslim faith, like writing about Muslims?
It's a mixture. So it's some of it is Muslim authors. They're writing about sci-fi. Maybe something Muslim-ish isn't necessarily mentioned in the story, but it's something written by someone who's Muslim.
Right.
Others are inspired by specifically Muslim folklore stories. So there's something that you can learn a little something about a different culture if you're not Muslim. So that's in there. I remember reading in the article that like only maybe one of the stories deals with like modern day anti-Muslim backlash and bigotry. So most of them aren't necessarily taking a political stance, but sci-fi usually does have some sort of political
it's not
allegory
foreign.
or something. So even if it does, that's awesome. It sounds pretty cool. I think that one of the weird comments that I saw, or a few times I saw people commenting on the story, they were saying things like, why you got to put religion into science fiction? That's stupid.
Right.
And I was just like, I was so confused by that because religion's always been in science fiction, right?
I mean, sure.
To me,
it's like the original science fiction, isn't it?
Right. Have you read the Bible? I mean, but also, I mean, like, I literally saw someone say, "What's next? Mormon science fiction?" And I was like, "Hello,
have you ever read
Battlestar Galactica?
Yeah.
It is Mormon science fiction."
But I mean, even just researching, reading about Mormonism in general, it's pretty fantastic.
It is, and it's awesome, and that's what's cool. And then, and they also made the joke, like, what about Catholic science fiction? I was like, The Exorcist.
Yeah.
Pretty much every scary movie.
Right.
I feel like science fiction is a genre that has always pulled from religious elements. The whole concept of, pushing past beyond what humanity's supposed to do, taking on the role of God.
Right.
Like, that's a sci-fi thing.
Right, for sure.
So I think it's really cool.
Absolutely. I don't think there's anything like a long-running sci-fi show out there that doesn't have something to do with ancient gods or temples, or I mean, realistically, even like with Star Wars, the Jedis are their own religion, and there's some very, very Buddhist elements in Star Wars and the Jedi beliefs.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about Buddhism in science fiction, but there's a whole lot of that.
Yeah, especially with the Jedi principles and whatnot. It's pretty much hand in hand the same thing.
That is an excellent point. I think that there's actually, I would say, more religious elements in science fiction than, say, anti-theist or atheist elements in science fiction.
Sure.
Like the only overtly atheist character I can think of is from the Cosmos. Not Cosmos. What's it called? Yeah. That Carlos Sagan book. Cosmos. You never read it? It's really good. And like the lead character is an atheist scientist who makes contact with aliens.
Oh, right.
And it's really good. And Carl Sagan wrote it, and it's awesome. You should definitely read it. It's one of my favorite books. And
I mean, to a degree,
not Cosmos, Contact. It's called Contact, not Cosmos.
I've never read it.
Well,
either way,
I read it, and it's one of my favorite books, and I got the name wrong because I'm a dum-dum. So it's really good. It's a movie. Jodie Foster is in it. You never saw the movie with Jodie Foster?
I don't like Jodie Foster.
Have you ever left your house? Do you like live in a basement somewhere?
I only like a couple of things. Okay, I'm not going to stray from those couple of things.
I like two things. I like French fries and Godzilla, and that's it.
Spaghetti.
And spaghetti.
That's pretty much it. No, it sounds good though. But I mean, realistically, science fiction, sci-fi fantasy, it all goes together.
And then with Islam being, back when Europe was stuck in the Middle Ages and still burning witches, the Muslim community in the Middle East was inventing like math and astrology and medicine.
Right.
So there have always that's always been something very intrinsic in the Muslim culture in Islam. So I think it just fits all. It fits together.
Well, people tend to forget. I think that in the late 90s, early 2000s, there were still little towns in Texas burning Harry Potter books. So for people to say that Muslims don't deserve like sci-fi and fantasy is kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm looking forward. I'm gonna download the PDF and definitely read that because I think
that
it's
sounds
really awesome.
I might read it too.
You might just put on your reading glasses.
I might just do it.
Learn some literacy.
Take off my spaghetti glasses, put on my reading glasses.
So on top of that, another big thing that's sort of making news, making waves, is that HBO's been finally releasing the trailers and photos for their next big, ambitious show called Westworld.
Right.
Have you seen the trailer for this yet?
I saw not really, what is it when it's not a trailer? It's kind of like a
teaser.
Yeah, like a teaser.
So for anyone who doesn't know, it's pretty highly anticipated because it's got a pretty big budget and HBO is going all out. But I didn't know because I was like, this must be based on a book or something. It's actually based on a movie from the 70s called Westworld that was written and directed by Michael Crichton, Jurassic Park.
Yep.
I don't know. He did a whole bunch of stuff. Awesome stuff.
Primarily Jurassic Park.
I mean, he's sort of known for this one little film called Jurassic Park.
One tiny little.
If you've
it's
heard
like
of
a
it.
cult film. Only some people.
Also about an amusement park. So he's clearly got a niche
for amusement parks.
Really,
what happened to that poor kid at Disney?
I know. He's really into amusement parks. So I want to see the original because it sounds pretty cool. A lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm gonna reveal it right here. Show exclusive on SPEW. I really like westerns.
Yeah.
I love Tombstone so much.
That's awesome.
Desperado. I'll watch it any day of the week.
You a Clint Eastwood fan?
No.
What?
I like good westerns. Oh, I just threw down the gauntlet. Threw it down.
What about it had little baby, what's his nuts in it?
Yeah, that sounds great.
No, it had Leonardo DiCaprio in it, and he dies. It's so sad.
That's Titanic. That's not a
no,
western.
it's not just Titanic.
It's not a western.
It's a western. Dead man don't dance. Dead man don't cry.
I don't think I saw that one.
Oh God, I need to look it up. I think can you look it up?
No, we're not looking
while
it
we
up.
Continue. I want to know. Look it up. Look it up, Bruno.
So
go ahead. So you like westerns? That's
awesome. I like
westerns,
and Westworld sounds right up my alley because I like westerns. I like futuristic worlds. So it sounds like it could be pretty cool. But I'm going in with some trepidation because I did read that they had a lot of rewrites.
The Quick and the Dead. Sorry, go ahead.
The Quick and the Dead I've never seen.
Okay.
I like
we'll talk
old
about
westerns.
It's really good. Just watch it sometime.
Not
you
western.
really like it.
Okay, so yeah, I'll have to watch it sometime.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah, it's set in the future. The original is set in the future, and this is set in the future. So it's basically like a
HBO
remake as a show. But like the movie's gone through a lot of like director changes, producer changes, that writing changes.
Sure.
So it's had a little bit of trouble getting off the ground. So I'm worried about it. I'm worried.
I am too, except that it's HBO, which has its drawbacks and its benefits.
So the plot of the story is basically it's in the future. It's an amusement park called Westworld where like humanoid type robots populate this amusement park. And for like a bunch of money, you can pay and go in and do whatever you want to these robots.
Like there's brothals and shit.
Like
saloons.
There's brothels, so you can fuck a robot, you can kill a robot.
You can a robot kill you.
I don't know, maybe, probably. I think so. So, and then like from the trailer, I gathered there's like a robot enlightenment where they realize what's being done to them and they're like, we're going to kick you guys in the nuts or
That's
something.
What happens in all those robot movies. If this is in the future, they clearly saw iRobot and stuff, so they should have learned their lesson.
Yeah, you'd think they would. So eventually the robots will come and take us all down. So, it's created and written by Jonathan Nolan. Christopher Nolan's brother. Who knew he had a brother?
Is it his little brother?
It's his little brother.
Aww.
And his wife, Lisa Joy, which is a cute name. She's co-writer, co-producer.
Cool.
So I like that there's a woman on board. That gives me some hope. The cast is a bunch of big name folks. We got Evan Rachel Wood.
Oh, she's a babe.
She's a total babe.
Total babe.
Thandie
She survived
Newton.
a relationship with Marilyn.
Newton, also a babe. She's also
Thandie Newton?
Thandie with a TH.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's a good name.
No, it's
Ed
not.
Harris, James Marsden.
Ed Harris.
The great
James Marsden?
Sir Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
All-star cast.
Yeah, this is better than some movies that have been coming out recently.
It's supposed to come out October 2nd on
Yeah.
HBO or October 3rd if you're a pirate, I guess. But October 2nd is the actual premiere date. What? The people pirate HBO shows. They do.
Oh, okay, I got it. I have to explain. I just looked at Jesi like she was crazy. I didn't get it.
You thought I meant like pirates just can't tell time or don't have calendars or
I don't
something?
know. I thought it was just a hit and a miss. That was a good one, though. I'm sorry I didn't laugh. I didn't laugh originally.
Joke. So my biggest concern about HBO doing this is like what we just said. It's robots that you can do anything to. And since we know humanity and we know how HBO writes things,
sure,
most likely somebody's going to want to rape a robot, right?
Oh, of course.
That's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to be a whole plot point. It's going to be a whole bunch of plot points, most likely.
Yeah.
And how much do we trust HBO to do this in a way that makes sense and isn't just gratuitous rape scenes?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
I'm worried.
that's the storyline, right? Isn't that the main storyline?
Well, the main storyline is you can do anything to them. So people hunt them down like animals. But some people, I feel like some people pay them for like the companionship too.
Sure.
So it's not everybody who goes in just to rape and murder robots, because otherwise they'd be constantly repairing robots.
Right. I think I read though that the first episode opens up with the park being shut down and people coming in and finding Evan Rachel Wood, who plays and I'm spoilering something that I haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, we can't really spoiler alert. Right. Yeah.
But I read that she plays a prostitute.
Yeah, prostitute robot.
Yeah, prostitute robot, and they come in and she's been murdered, like she's broken now.
Yeah.
Because somebody raped and murdered her. And that's what starts it.
So we're starting
which caused all
right
kinds of
on the
backlash.
Right on the rape foot. Start right off on the rape foot.
Which is HBO's favorite foot.
It's so like I'm not one of those people that's like you can never depict rape ever.
Yeah, I'm not either.
But I feel like it's so relied upon for the shock value that it loses its shock value in real life at this point. Like it's depicted so often.
Sure.
And I don't know. I feel I do think the most interesting about this though is it does raise a very good ethical question that I feel like eventually we're going to have to answer as a race.
What can we do to robots and what we can't?
Can you rape an inanimate object?
Can you murder one?
Can you murder Oh, that's a good question. Can you murder something that can just be fixed?
Yeah.
You know?
Do anything that's not consensual is something that can't really give consent.
That can't consent. That's going to be an interesting. Humanity's going to have to come up with an answer for that.
There's a couple storylines that are based around that. I'd have to sit down, but that's a spooky question.
It is a spooky question.
But I don't know. I know that when this story broke and I was reading about it, and I'm excited. I'm going to watch it anyways.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I am a little
watch
annoyed with it. I was a big fan of American Horror Story, which is not HBO, but still has that same production value, and it's a lot of the same crowd. When they started putting rape in almost for comedic effect, I was like, done.
Yeah,
so there is a level to it where I'm like, if the scene of rape or like brutality against women doesn't have a very pointed reason, then most people nowadays, especially feminists, are able to see that, and it's a turnoff. So don't rely on that heavily. Yeah, and maybe it'll be great. But somebody confronted the writer, and no, it was not the writer. I'm sorry, it was somebody high up with just HBO in general when he was talking about this show coming out. Someone confronted him about that and his reliance on rape and the network's reliance on brutality against women, and his excuse was, a guy gets raped in Game of Thrones in one scene. You don't really see it, but it's insinuated that he gets raped.
The answer to the rape inequality presentation on TV is not more rape. It's not rape other genders.
Right.
That's not the answer.
Right.
I'm not like keeping a scorecard like, okay, women got raped 10 times. Let's see how many times dudes get raped.
Right.
Like, that's not the answer.
No, it's not. I mean, and I guess you took it as like, do you hate women? And I don't necessarily see it as that, but I do know that if there's I think women nowadays, women viewers are conditioned to watch and tolerate certain things as to where, like, how many if you're a heterosexual cisgendered woman and you're watching TV and there's like a makeout scene between two females, which is very common on like daytime television, I don't think that any woman, whether she's gay or even remotely or whatever, is gonna bat an eye. But I've sat with many a boyfriends and male friends and seen two guys kiss on TV, and they have a conniption fit because they don't have to be exposed to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too. It wouldn't be, if you're gonna beat up a lot of women on or brutalize women. Brutalizing men, like you said, isn't necessarily the answer, but it's definitely swayed more towards women. HBO specifically does that a lot.
They do it a lot, and I get that they want to like make viewers sympathetic to a character, but it's just such a weird trope to use. They'll have a character that maybe people don't like that much. Yeah. And they'll be like, okay, well, if she gets raped, maybe they'll like her more. That seems like what they're trying to do. Yeah. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Even more so, a lot of rape victims have actually said, and I read a really interesting article that I wish I could find again. I'm sure it could, because it had a lot of views, talking about how it's almost just as harmful to do this whole like, female character gets raped and and comes back for revenge.
Yes.
Comes back stronger, comes back better, because that's even worse for like rape victims. Not like you can look up to that. You know what I mean? Like if I'm a rape victim and I'm in recovery later in life, I can't be like, fuck it, I'm going to go cut his balls off. Like we might think about it, but that's not necessarily like an answer to the problem. You're not empowering rape victims there. You're just, how about just stop putting rape on TV?
Yeah. Or, you know, just kind of stimmy it a little bit. You don't have to do it all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it'll be a good show. I'm excited to see it.
I am too. I really am excited.
But I'm going in with like the presence of mind to know like I'm probably going to see a bunch of people get raped in the show. I have a feeling. And I hope that I'm disappointed. I hope that they like talk about it. Maybe it's something that's in the background if they have to use it a whole lot. I hope I don't have to like sit through and watch that over and over again.
It would make the one character having been like brutalized more important if they don't have like everyone getting raped.
Yeah.
Evan Rachel Wood's done some really weird shit though. She's a weirdo.
She's a total weirdo. I like her.
She was
because
engaged to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, which is, you know, people, we all make mistakes. But yeah, she takes on some difficult projects.
Yeah,
she's brave about that. She'll take on some weird roles. So I think that's
she's
pretty
great,
cool. So we're looking forward to a couple of things. But what are we doing right now? What are we reading? What are we watching? What are we playing? Shelby, what are you into right now?
Oh, goodness gracious. I wish that I had a wider variety of interests. But
me too.
Right
I feel
now,
like all you like is French fries and Godzilla, and it's exhausting. And spaghetti. That's a new thing for you. You recently got into spaghetti, and it's just like you smell like spaghetti all the time.
Lasagna.
You're covered in sauce right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's disgusting. I'm playing a lot of World of Warcraft, which is another one of my like 5 things. They came out with the new expansion. I won't go on and on about this because no one cares.
Every time I see the commercial like on Hulu, I'm like, that game looks dope.
And then you're like, it's well.
And then it comes out as World of Warcraft. I'm like, never mind.
It's really good. You would probably have you ever actually played it?
World of Warcraft.
You can't go try it.
Warcraft.
Go ahead.
World of
Warcraft. Say Warcraft.
Warcraft. That's what I was trying to get at. I messed up my own mess.
It's really good.
Yes, I have tried to play it one time. I spent
how long ago though? That's a big
question. Couple months ago. Whenever we first started the podcast, I was like, I'm going to try World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, because Colin started playing briefly again. Now he's not playing anymore.
I sat down and I was like, oh, I can talk to the other players.
Yeah,
I can say whatever I want. He's like,
what did you start harassing people?
I asked them if they like racetrack tea as much as I do. No one wanted to talk to me, and I felt offended because racetrack tea is delicious, and most people don't know about it. If Racetrack wants to sponsor our show, I literally drink like 3 styrofoam cups of Racetrack every day.
We talk more. I think we've talked about this already before, and we've talked about Cracker Barrel more than once now.
We've talked about our sponsors that we wish we had.
Yeah.
We endorse their products.
It's gonna work
for free.
A couple points that we're making about World of Warcraft real fast, just so I'm not just bullshitting.
Okay.
And some people, there might be like 3 people out there who care still. You get to pick your own starting zone now, which is awesome. Like rather than having to go to the land that you want to, you can pick whatever. And the game levels with you, which is great. Every class has a super fun quest line to acquire an artifact weapon.
Wow.
And it's really fun.
Cool.
Because the artifacts are weapons that people that are familiar with the Warcraft lore will already know. So like if you're a Death Knight, which is a thing.
Sure it is.
Yeah.
I was a Death Knight for Halloween last year.
Sure you were. So if you're a Death Knight, you get Frostmourne, which everybody knows that. You don't know it, Jesse, because
I'll never know it. I'll never learn it.
Yeah. Frostmourne is... that's a different episode. Fuck it. It's a sword. It's a very important sword.
Cool sword.
And of course, the main bad guy is Gul'dan, who's awesome. You don't know what that means either.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the movie?
No.
We're going to screen it.
No, we're not.
Yeah, no, Gul'dan's super cool. So there's a lot. I can go on and on about it, but I got to wait. I got to keep playing.
So you're just playing World of Warcraft? You're not watching or reading anything right now?
I'm still watching Vikings.
Oh, Vikings. So I've seen some clips of that show, and it looks pretty good.
It is really good. You have to get through the first season, which is kind of like crappy, crappy accents, and there's not much. It's really good, though.
A lot of good hairstyles.
A lot of really good hairstyles. A lot of gorgeous men and ladies.
Show.
Everyone in that show is hot as balls.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a good show.
I'll pick it up one of these days.
So what are you doing? What are you watching or reading or?
I started rereading Handmaid's Tale again, which I've mentioned before. It's one of my favorite books. It's such a good book. Actually, I wanted to start rereading it because Netflix announced that they've picked it up to start as a series with Poussey, and I'm really excited because I really liked that book for a long time. It had like the 1990s made-for-TV movie treatment. It was okay, but
I never saw that. I didn't know that.
It's not that great. I like pirated one day and and I was like, it was okay. It wasn't as good as the book. The book is so much better. So
it's a great book.
Yeah, so I started reading that again, and I'm also reading a book that a friend sent me. He's an author, and he sent me like a pre-screening version of his book. So I'm reading through that. I'd like to talk about that on the podcast one of these days once I've finished reading it. So that one should be pretty cool. It's definitely nerd oriented.
Awesome.
I'm watching The Strain, which I'm kind of far behind on because that came out like 2 years ago. But 2 years ago, I started reading The Strain, which is co-written with Guillermo del Toro. So it's awesome. And I really like it. So
really into
I don't know for anyone who doesn't know The Strain, but just to give you like a quick overview of what it is, it's basically vampirism as a communicable disease. So it's treated like it's the flu sort of by the CDC, and they're trying to stop it.
Oh, yeah.
The Center for Disease Control is the vampire hunters.
Wouldn't it be so weird if you could just like get it a couple times throughout your life?
Yeah.
Like you do with the flu or the common cold.
And,
Be like, I got vampirism right now. I can't come into work.
So it's actually really good. I read the book a couple years ago. Then I tried to start the show, but I hated the casting. Like no one matched my imagined characters.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't watch this.
No.
So now I'm, a couple years removed. I've had some time to get over what I thought they looked like, and now I can watch it and I'm enjoying it. I'm just started season 2. I'm enjoying it very much. It's a really good show. And then I have been sort of passively on and off watching Mr. Robot, which is a really good show. It's about hacking. And that's a nerdy show because IT guys are nerdy and hackers are nerdy.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theorists are nerdy. It's all those things kind of wrapped up into one cool little cerebral show.
I know I'm like 15 years late, but I just started watching the IT Crowd. You said IT Crowd.
Is it the IT Crowd or the IT Crowd? It's the IT Crowd.
I believe it's IT.
I don't know. I've never. I tried to watch it once and I was like, this is too nerdy for me.
So fucking funny. I love it. Yeah.
I don't like IT guys. I don't like you.
Whatever. I remember reading The Handmaid's Tale. I'm excited to see what they do with that.
Yeah, I am.
That one especially.
I'm really excited to see what they do with it, just because the part of what I didn't like about the 1991, 1990s, whatever, made-for-TV movie was they didn't explore the world as much as they could have.
I feel like they don't in the book though. Like it took me a while to understand
so
exactly
much of
what
it
was going on.
is implied, but so much of it is buildable. There's so much you can build on and expand on, and I think it
took me a long time to figure out like the time. Like, is this the future? Is it a theoretical past?
It's definitely the future.
Right.
It's definitely the future where part of the country is like this, but not the entire country is like this. So it's sort of like the ultra religious parts of America got together and created this culture.
Yeah.
And there are other parts of America that don't do this. So it's really cool and interesting. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what Netflix does with it. It's going to be pretty darn dope.
Yeah. I'm reading a book that is not really all that nerdy, except it's historical, and it's set in like World War I time. Actually, I just finished it. I finished it like a couple days ago. It is called Charity Girl, and I do not remember the author's name because I'm like just now thinking about it. But it's about this lady who contracts syphilis, and it's like very real and very raw. And my husband got it at Walmart for me, which was awesome. But it's set in like World War I, and to keep the soldiers, and I guess it's based on some truth, not the characters, but the situation is based on some truth, to keep the soldiers from like fraternizing with women. They like took women that got syphilis for the first time after it like really broke in America, and like put them into these little prison camps until it was clean, and it's until they were clean. It's really good.
I'm not surprised at all that you're really into books about
syphilis.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't know what my husband thought it was about. He just read the back and it said something about like empowering women. He's like, my wife will like this.
My wife will eat this crap up.
Yeah, so
just like spaghetti. All right, folks, that's all we have time for today. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Like us on Facebook and all that other crap.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
bye. Bye.